Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to another video from TW White & Sons. Okay, here we have a Volkswagen Polo. Now we've taken this in part exchange. It's not something we'd normally retail, being a Mazda dealer. We tend to cherry pick the cars that we, the non-Mazda cars that we retail. But this appears to be a very nice car, and I think it will fill a gap in our forecourt quite nicely. Now it's presented in white, it's a 3-door, and it's a VW Polo 1.4, and it's 180 PS, that's the power output, and it's got the DSG Automatic gearbox. Now the previous owner is actually a colleague's partner. He's actually works in the trucking business on the technical side of things, so it was his car, so it was his kind of pride and joy. Now looking around the car, it's all very presentable. We gave it a quick clean today, and all the alloys are in great shape, bar I think there's some light curbing on the edges, which we will get sorted for the next owner. Now it appears that it's quite fashionable today not to have a rear wiper, so the rear wiper's been removed or deleted, I think they say, but this can always be reversed back. The only other modification that we're aware of, which is quite popular on these cars, the suspension's been uprated, so it's a bit stiffer than it would be as standard, but the previous customer has provided us with the original suspension, so that can all be reversed as well. Okay, now before we get inside the car, I'll just take you to the boot. Now, before you start asking, oh, where's the parcel shelf? The parcel shelf is on its way to us. We shall have that in the next couple of days. And then you've got the boot area here, and there is a spare wheel there, which is unusual these days. But the interior, you could do with a valet, especially under where the spare wheel is, but the interior is in really good shape. It was a non-smoker's car, so I'm not a smoker myself, so I normally can detect cars that have been smoked in, but this is all very pleasant. And these sporty seats often, from my experience anyway, the bolsters wear quite quickly, but this is all in really great shape. Now we have a customer who's in the VW scene, and he saw this car when it was parked in our car park, and he told us, now I don't know whether this is true or not, but he said a lot of these Polos have the black leather. He says, so this is actually quite sought after. I'd call it tartan. Now I actually am quite fond of it, because the original Golf GTIs, I remember, had a similar interior, and I actually owned one of them, the Mark 1 Golf, so yeah, I really like that actually, and find them really, really supportive. So I think we're finished on the outside of the car, but the alloys look really great shape. But this one here got some light curbing, and this one here, which is kind of normal on cars. I don't think I've ever had a car that we've taken in part exchange that we haven't had to refurb any wheels. You got your centre armrest there. Okay, so yeah, it's all really nice shape, and I didn't actually think I'd like the way the car drove, but I really, really like it, and that's how it reminds me of the old hot hatches of the 80s. Now, if I get in the car, what I'll do is I'll start her up, because I believe actually I did say the suspension and the wiper was a modification, but I don't know if this is standard. But listen to the exhaust. It sounds nice, it's not overpowering, sounds really good, especially when you're driving along. Now the car's done 68,719 miles. I was having a look at the service book earlier. It's got service history with VW up to about 45,000 miles, and then it's got some independents. And the gentleman that, as I say, owned this, he worked for the heavy, like, trucking and bits and pieces. He's a mechanic for that, and he also did the brakes, because if you look on the previous MOT, there was an advisory on brake discs and pads, which have subsequently been changed with Brembo items. But we will be putting the car through our Mazda workshops. In fact, I've had the car in the workshop. It needs a tyre and a couple of other little bits and pieces doing, nothing major at all. So I think it's just the tyre actually, and we'll put a fresh MOT on the car. But it's a really nice place to be. So if I was 20 years younger, I'd be tempted myself. Oh, and also even though I know you don't need air conditioning at this time of year, but this all does work and it does go ice cold. You've got your radio here, CD. It's got a little jack there, and I believe, yeah, there's like a USB thingy in here, which you can plug the more modern music sources into. You've got the flappy paddles here. I don't know if this is standard, but these are like an extension on the flappy paddles, which is quite nice. You've got this nice chunky steering wheel, and also Bluetooth, which I think is super important. And you can stream your music and bits and pieces. So yeah, really, really good. So